Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to TryRevise. Today we're going to be looking back at biology, but we're going to not focus on the heart. We're going to be focusing on closed and linear loop systems. And this is to do with ecosystems and dumping waste, and how we deal with and make our products. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the linear system. This is what most countries use now, but we are developing out of this because this is the worst one. And at the end, we'll be looking at the pros and the cons of these two systems. Now, you may not be able to see the writing, so I will read you through what it says. First of all, up here, you have natural resources, and these include things like oil, it says there, soil, timber, fresh water, or fish and game. Now, game is hunted animals, and there can be many more, but these are just some examples here. And collecting these, you can cause damage to the forest and wildlife, and they can be unsustainable. So, and the definition of unsustainable, which we advise you to write down, is the definition of sustainable is succeeding with the needs of today without damaging the needs of tomorrow. So that means you don't take too much, you don't take all the resources this year, for us, and then for future generations they don't have enough resources. So once you've got these natural resources, as I said, harmful ways, but once you've got them, you move into the manufacturing, and these will be using fossil fuels. And okay, so once you've got these fossil fuels, you'll come with the consumption. And these are things like cars, electronics, appliances, food, chemicals, and so on. Now, very little is recycled back from the waste of the consumption back into the manufacturing process. Very little. So when these are broken, very little of them are recycled back to the manufacturing process. And in fact, a lot of them, if I could just move the camera down a little bit, a lot of them are dumped. A lot of them are dumped. A lot of them, as I said, dumped into the final dump product. And these can be into things like waste. And these are harmful. If I just move it down a bit here. If these are harmful to the people and the environment. So do you want me to go over that quickly again? Okay. This is the linear loop system, what we're in at the moment, but we're evolving out of it because it's a bad system. At the end of the video, we'll be discussing the cons and the pros of each of the systems. So, you gather natural resources, oil, soil, timber, freshwater, fish or game, or any others. In the process, you damage to the forest and the wildlife, and it can be unsustainable. Sustainable is taking the needs, affecting the needs of today without damaging the needs of tomorrow. You manufacture these products using fossil fuels, which are also unsustainable because they can emit and dangerous to the ozone layer, and they can cause global warming. You dump most of the waste, but when you make them in the manufacturing process, you've got the consumption process. You've got cars, electronics, appliances, food, chemicals, and very little is recycled back to the manufacturing process. Most of it is dumped up here to the dump. Most of it is dumped, and this can emit harmful chemicals to the atmosphere, and they can be damaging to the environment and humans. So, doesn't sound very nice, does it? No, I hear you all scream. So we'll move on to the linear system. This here is the closed loop system. And right, this is how it starts. So again, you've got your natural resources. These include things like oil, soil, timber, fresh water, fish or game. If you're ever asked to give examples of natural resources, I advise you give these ones because they've been checked by the exam board and they are known as correct. Okay, now the way what it means here is a sustainable surplus. Sorry. This means that you don't take more than you need. You only take the amount you need. So this is sustainable because there'll be stuff left over for future generations. Now there is a typo here, but manufacturing, you use sustainable energy. So you do not use fossil fuels in the closed loop system. You use sustainable energy. So this could be anything, the wind, anything that doesn't run out. Okay, and any waste is broken down back into natural resources. Okay. Then we go back across here to here, and again, if you want some examples, cars, electronics, appliances, food, or chemicals, and most of the waste is recycled back to this process here, manufacturing process. And very little is dumped. Obviously, you will still get some dumped because it's dangerous to recycle some things like plastic, but you obviously will get most of it is put down in the dump. Very little. Very little dumped. Okay, now let's talk about the pros and the cons. The cons for the linear system are... The cons for the linear system are that you emit very dangerous wastes. So, for instance, if one of the wastes you were creating was carbon dioxide, you're emitting a greenhouse gas into the atmosphere. Another thing is you're damaging the wildlife, so you're not taking it sustainable. You're not taking the sustainability away. So, for instance, you're taking oil, which will run out eventually. You're taking too much fish than you need to, so future generations don't have enough to live on. And a final reason why it's not very good is because you're using fossil fuels to create it. So when you're creating it, you're also emitting dangerous things. So you can be emitting carbon dioxide. The main greenhouse gases will be emitting, so things like carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and methane. The pros for the closed loop system are that you are not doing any of these things. So you're taking it sustainably in the form of sustainably surplus. You're dumping very little, so very little dangerous rays are being emitted, and you're doing it in not using fossil fuels. So therefore you're not emitting dangerous rays like what I said: carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, methane, carbon dioxide. Thank you.